So we might get some people joining us any minute. We haven't really talked about what we're going to talk about even, have we? Sorry. I've just sent it live. Right, we've got people joining in. So,
oh really? Already?
hello.
Hi guys.
If you can you hear us? We're totally brand new to this, so if it's not working, you need to tell us. If I get rid of that, let's see. I need to send you the URL, Andy.
Yes, please.
So, if anyone is watching this and can see us, can you just put in the live chat and tell us that it's working? Sound is fine, it's working. Great. Could one of you also send at FPL_tactician a link to the stream? Because we're so amateur, we don't even know how to find the link to our own stream. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. In the meantime, I'm Dave, SimpleGoal_FPL, one of the 3 people who have started Fantasy Champman, and happy to be here talking to you all. This is nice, isn't it? No football, no real football, but we've got Championship Manager, and that's the main thing. So I'm here with Andy. I'm going to be quite small on the stream, as you can see, because again, we don't know what we're doing, and Andy's going to be quite big.
Cheers, Dave, for making me massive. Cheers for that.
Yeah, exactly. Have you got the link to the YouTube yet, Andy?
Haven't seen it. No, just having a look on my Twitter now. Can someone?
It might be in the live chat. Let me get it up. Paul Coleman, lol. I'll tell you what.
Brand new novices, guys, novices.
Hopefully, you will be a bit more professional as the season goes on. But at least in how the game runs, I can't promise the streaming if we do any more, we'll get any better. But
Dave, do you know who we need?
Who? Oh, James.
James.
Yeah, exactly. If he's watching it now, he's probably laughing. James is the main man.
Thank you, Rob Bryant. Yeah, cheers, Rob Bryant. I've got it now. That's
okay, cool. So Andy, if you're happy to keep an eye on the live chat.
Yeah, no worries.
And then that way people can see my screen, and we'll do it that way. So maybe if we give people a few minutes to, well, Andy, if you're happy to tweet it out on the main Twitter, and then we'll give people a couple of minutes to join in.
Yeah.
And just while we're waiting, I will get the live chat up so that while Andy's doing that, I can have a little chat with you guys. Looking good, lads. Thank you, Martin, FPL. So I don't want to say too much because I don't know how many people are going to come. I don't know. There's 25 of us at the moment. I don't know whether that'll be it or whether we'll get more. I suspect there might be a few more. So don't want to go and say all the good stuff right away. I've got some notes written on a piece of cardboard that I tore from an Amazon package. I'll give you a quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about on the stream, and then that way if you've got any questions, anything you want to know, you can get it in the live chat now before we kick off, and hopefully we can get to that first. So we're going to have a brief run through the spreadsheet and talking about how the spreadsheet works, how that's going to happen over the season, different questions about that. Andy's going to run through some stuff with me. Me and Andy have also both been working on a list of overlooked players. So it's not a list of players that we think necessarily going to score the most points or players that we think are the best, but players that we think are good and that deserve to be talked about just a little bit more. So we've both got something like that. I mean, I have no idea what Andy's got. He doesn't know what I've got, so I'm interested to hear what you've got, mate. We've got there's a few questions that came up on the Twitter, so we'll be doing those. I've got the game file just here. Woo! This is the game. So
load it up, mate.
English Second Division. There you can see that's I'm managing Brighton, so I've literally just loaded it up. So I can show you the game if you want to see any player profiles, any of that sort of stuff. Pre-season tactics, I can get some of that stuff up, and then last we'll sort of sign off there. But if people have got any general troubleshooting, then we can do that. How's that sound, Andy?
Sounds good, mate. All good.
Cool. All right, nice. So we're up to 43 people. So should we just kick off and get going?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So we'll start off with the spreadsheet. And Andy, you can fire away questions. If you see anything else come up in the live chat, then go for it.
Yeah.
Just before you do ask, actually, I was just going to say as well. This is my team. So Andy, and James are all doing a £90 million zombie team. So we're not entering proper teams into it. This isn't going to be my final team. This is something I threw together very quickly. But yeah, so that's why the team looks a bit rubbish compared to probably what you've got. But yeah, go for it, Andy. Let's talk sheet.
Yeah. So with the sheet, just want to like guide people through it really. So you've got the sheet there. If the first thing first, if people wanted to change their team name, because some people have got like a template team as their like team name. So how would people change that?
Okay, so yeah, so up here where my cursor is there, you can see that I've changed it to @SimpleGoalFPL Stream Team Squad. So if you go over here and click on Summary and follow the hyperlink to that, basically if it's a gold box that you can see, then you can change it. So up here, I can change the team name. So I click on the gold box, and with a bit of luck, there you go. I can change the team name, and that's sorted. So that means you can change your team name to not just be your Twitter handle, but to be whatever you want it to be.
Cool. And how can I enter my team? Just quickly, if people don't know that.
Okay, yep. So if you go to the current squad tab, the current squad tab will always take you to whatever game week you're currently in. And you can see I've already filled mine out, but two ways of doing it. You can use this little black drop-down box arrow to do it and scroll through, and it's got all the players for that position in price order. So let's just change, Enkelman, Ed De Hoy, whoever you want, you can do it too. Or if you know specifically, like, right, I'm looking for I don't know, Jaskalainen, difficult one to spell. I don't know why I chose that one. Then you can just start typing, and by the time you get to about the third letter, then usually the names come up, and you can just click on it, and you can join in. Same for every position, yeah. And also, just to say, you're probably going to ask it in a second, but if you wanted to change your starting lineup, that's quite an important one. I'm getting a lot of questions about that. So if you wanted, so at the moment you can see I'm playing 3-4-3. If I decided to change to a 4-4-2, the way I do that is scroll down to your subs. So let's say I want to start Riggett instead of Biscan. So find Riggett on the bench, change him to Biscan. That's now updated, Liverpool Biscan. And you can see that the start thing just here has been removed, and now Riggett is starting. And it's now a change of formation as well.
Cool. And do I need to save the team?
No, you don't need to save the team. It's different to FPL in that it doesn't, if you make a transfer, when it comes to next week, if you make a transfer and then you decide you don't want that player anymore and you change them, that won't be like a 4-point hit. Basically, everyone's data will be sucked into our spreadsheet at deadline. So whatever is on your sheet at deadline is what you're going to get, basically.
Okay. And what happens at deadline? Can you just explain a bit of that?
Good question. So we're actually doing a test with James. So James L. Apron, who is the third member of our little band,
The most important member.
He is definitely the most important member. He's a technical genius and a whiz. So he's doing it tonight at midnight. He's actually going to run a little test. So your sheets won't be available for a little while at midnight because he's doing a dummy deadline. But basically, what will happen at deadline? The plan is that all these gold boxes over here that you can see, they'll be greyed out, and you won't be able to change them. And then it will probably, for now, it will stay grey through the matches, so you won't be able to you won't be able to change your team during the matches. It won't do live points updates during the matches. And then basically once all the matches have happened and the buttons have been pressed at James's end, then the points should all just drop into your spreadsheet all in one go. And at that point, your spreadsheet will automatically, in theory, move from game week 1 to game week 2. So you can then make your game week 2 transfers, change your lineup for game week 2, and you'll be able to look back at the previous week points.
Yeah. And you can make transfers between deadlines as well. So like if you select a player, can you deselect that player before the deadline? Will it allow you to change it?
As in after the deadline's passed?
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be able to do that. If you can change anything after the deadline's passed, don't change it. So two things. So once the deadline passes, if you change a previous game week's team, I think we've set it up so in theory it's not possible, but if you can somehow manage it, if you remove a chip that you've already played, or if you change a lineup from a previous week, it will basically set your team score to that week for 0 because it catches it as cheating. So don't touch previous weeks if you can see it and if you can access it. And the other tip with that is obviously on FPL, sometimes at 11:30 on a Saturday morning, going through your sheet, trying to make your last minute subs changes, or like, oh, I'll quickly change my captain. Basically, I would not do that just before deadline, because the key thing on this is if I scroll across here, you can see here right now I've actually got an invalid team. Will score 0. So I need to look at what that is. So you need this to say valid team, and it's quite easy to accidentally get an invalid team if you're tinkering and not paying attention. And if you have an invalid team, you will score 0. So I've got, what's my reason it's invalid? Invalid vice captain. Okay, so I've sold. Okay, so here's the thing: not everything happens automatically. So I've sold Mark Viduka for someone else, but I've still got Mark Viduka set as my vice captain. So I need to change it off of him and just pick someone who is actually in my starting team. So let's go for Gerard. So now up here, valid team, good to go. If I just leave that now at the deadline, it's valid. I'll score points, all good.
That's cool. Couple of people still asking as well in the live chat, saying my friend signed up yesterday, hasn't received his sheet yet.
I didn't know there was any problems with the
I
sheet.
just feel that as well. Like James at the moment is on it all evening. There's still some guys from yesterday who had signed up, so like last 150 people that signed up. So he's going to get through that tonight. We'll tie up loose ends maybe tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
But everything is pretty much there near enough.
Yeah, we put on the our at Fantasy ChampMan. If you go to that, if you haven't got your sheet, there's still a little form there. Basically, all you have to do is enter your Twitter handle, the one that you registered with, get your name on there. That means that we know that you've done it. Literally, just before this stream, we've gone through, we've just like knocked out 70 because people have put them on there. And it's, if you do it that way, it's so much easier. So if you haven't got your spreadsheet, don't panic, like you were saying, but get your name on that list. So go to our Twitter now, put it on there. We'll get on it tonight and get them out.
I also just I remember this from earlier this afternoon. I asked you, but you didn't get back to me.
Oh.
Did you do you know where Taribo West went?
I don't know. I don't know where Taribo West went. Let me have a little look. Taribo West. Taribo West.
I mean, didn't go to Premier League club.
He's gone to Auxerre in the French league, sadly.
Shame.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
I know someone was asking that on the questions yesterday. So
would have been nice to have him. Would have been nice. Hopefully, get Mark Kerr. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Is there anything else on the spreadsheet that we need to know?
Let me just check.
Week? I mean, the main thing is the valid team, isn't it?
The valid team thing is like really important. There will be people who don't realise it, score 0 points, and are upset about it. So, but you've just got to make sure your team's valid, and that's the main thing. So don't tinker just before deadline. Deadline is at 6 p.m. tomorrow, so 2 hours before kickoff at 8. So make sure your team's valid by say 5:45, and I would just leave it at that point. There's a couple of like small technical things that are worth saying for a bit further down the line. So again, if you just see where my cursor is here, where the chip thing is, so I've got, because we're playing zombie teams, I've got my triple captain set for this week because I can't use any chips any other time. Is that allowed?
You haven't, have you? You got your triple captain set.
Is that allowed? I don't know. I've never done it before.
I'll have bench boost then this week.
Yeah, exactly. I don't trust that all my players will play. Like people have said, I would really suggest you want to get your 15 playing players to begin with, because it is going to be rotation central. But right now you can see there's just triple captain and bench boost. For game week 2, free hit and wild card will also become available. A couple of things that James asked me to put in there is that chips need to be reset the week after. It will make your team invalid. So if I play triple captain this week, then when it gets to game week 2, I'll need to deselect that and just pick the little dash there to take it off, so that my team's valid again, because it doesn't automatically remove the chips. And if you've already played the chip, then it's then an invalid move.
Okay. Can you just explain the transfers again as well? Someone's just asked in the chat.
Yeah.
Where we click make transfers, the transfers don't go through. So how exactly that works?
Yeah, sure. So I will answer that just very quickly. Another thing on chips. If you play the free hit chip, this is quite specific, but if you play the free hit chip, then the following week, you'll still have your free hit team, and it will show as like minus 40 points or whatever it is, minus 56 or something. It'll have your old team next to it. All you have to do is just reselect your old team, and it will get it back to normal. Does that make sense? that make sense to you,
Yeah.
Andy? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Cool. We're going to get a lot of questions about that one, I reckon. Transfers wise, so if you just imagine this is my game week 2 team rather than game week 1, if I want to move Biscan to Giggs, that seems like a good move. Then literally you can see I've just selected Biscan, gone to here, or I could have typed it in, click Giggs. And in effect, that's a transfer made. So ignore the invalid team because it's just a formation issue. But basically, if I just leave it like that, that will make your transfer. You don't have to press submit. You don't have to do anything. You just have to leave it valid, and we'll do the rest, basically.
Cool. Just another thing, just while I think about it as well. So there's no price rises or falls.
Correct.
We were thinking about doing it, but it's going to be too difficult, so don't expect that.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else on the sheet that anyone's asking before we move on?
Just a quick question again. Just go through the free hit again, just to make sure they understand it.
Yeah, so if you play free hit, it's difficult to explain because I can't show you right now. But basically, if I I can't free hit game week 1, but if I free hit next week, imagine that, say I free hit to the side that you can see on the screen right here, and this is my free hit squad. And this is game week 2, this is my free hit squad, and I've chosen these players. Game week 3, when I come into game week 3, it will still show me my free hit squad when I first log in. So it won't automatically go back to my team that I had the week before. The team that I had the week before, which is my main team, will be listed down next to it, but the players who are in the boxes being selected is going to be your free hit team. And therefore it will show you that you're having like a 50-point hit or whatever it costs you for your free hit squad. So all you have to do after you've played your free hit, the next game week after you've played your free hit, you just literally, if I had Cudicini, I'd just go back, okay, select Cudicini, and the list of players will be like right there next to it. So you just have to move it and manually re-enter it. It's just a small bit of manual work, basically, to avoid a big, heavy hit. Again, there's going to be a few people who don't realise, get a humongous hit, and sorry.
Yeah. Luke's just asking as well. Luke Disable.
Yeah.
You know, from Scout.
Yeah.
Hi, Luke. On transfers, I kind of know what he's saying. So he's saying, like game week 1's finished, game week 2 opens up.
Yeah.
If he makes a transfer, can he then revert the transfer before the next deadline?
Yes. Yeah. So basically, if you
can change your team.
You can change your team as much as you want. All it will count. If I made 50 transfers to that team just there, but in the end I came back to my original team, it wouldn't be like 200 points of hits. It would just be the game will just think that you've not made any changes and you've just got the exact same team. It's whatever you leave it as at deadline will happen. And up here, I think it's up here where the points hit. It will show you what points hits you're taking and stuff like that. You get your normal free transfer, plus you can roll one like an FPL, but it will show you what points hits. I think it's quite intuitive when you come to use it, because when we were testing it, it worked really well. So, but yeah, basically, like, it doesn't build up. It's just whatever you have at deadline is what's going to happen.
Yeah, and just to say as well, I mean, we went for a lot of testing where we've done 3, 4, 5 game weeks, and people played chips and stuff, and so it has been tested to that. So
it's been tested. I think it's obviously not been tested with 1,600 people trying to do it. So you might need to bear with us if there's little teething problems, which I'm sure there will be. Like, the three of us are basically just amateur enthusiasts who love FPL and love ChampMan. So and Google Sheets is basically designed to add up your pocket money and that sort of stuff, not to run a humongous game for thousands of people. So James L. Apron, I don't know if he's in the chat or not, but if not, go and find him on Twitter and go and say thanks to him, because he has worked night and day to produce this, and it's phenomenal what he's made. When me and Andy first started talking about it, we were like, "Oh, I wonder how we can get people to submit their teams." Like, we had no idea.
I was thinking like photos, and let's just like tweet it out. Or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We were thinking like maybe 25 people. So James has allowed basically all of you to play, apart from maybe 25 of you.
I would have loved it if it's you against me. That would have been fun as well.
Yeah, well, maybe we should just do that.
April Fool's tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's my dad's birthday tomorrow. I forgot. Oh, that's a bad moment to realise. Whoops. Anyway.
James Prentice as well, saying shout out to the testers. Yeah, cheers, mate.
James Prentice is James L. Apron. So
Is it? Okay,
It
fine.
is, yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. So he's in the chat. Shout out to the testers, yeah. So Robbo, I know did a lot of work. I shouldn't start naming people because you'll miss people out, but Kenzie, Craig Mosh, Rob Pick deserves a massive shout out as well for his work. He's done with the scout with the testing. Pistolinus was in there for a bit. Ditops, like there was a bunch of people doing testing, and there's been so many people being helpful all the way. So massive thank you to you. Couple more things just to say on the spreadsheet quickly before we move on. One is don't share your URL. So we had like a nice welcome email to everyone with some info in it. Maybe we'll stick it up as a Google Doc on our Twitter. But basically, it got blocked by spam blocker for a lot of people. So don't share your URL for your team because basically your URL is your password. If someone else has your URL, then they'll be able to change your team. So don't share that. Make sure your team is valid. And yeah, the only other thing is just to say wildcard and free hit chips will be available from next week. That's all, I think.
Nice one. Cheers,
Should
Dave.
move on to the next bit?
Yeah. I mean, on to the next bit. So we just want to talk about the actual game. I've just had a look through some like people's teams and who they've chosen, and I want to just bring to people's attention like people that I think it's important in this game to have a full squad of like 15 players.
Yeah, definitely.
You saw it in the Charity Shield with Quinton Fortune replacing Giggs. Rotation is probably more evident in this game than it is in real life.
Yeah.
I've had a quick look at the fixtures and players that I've picked out that maybe are going under the radar a bit. So
yeah,
I think there's a few teams with good fixtures early on. Blackburn is an interesting one. So they've got home fixtures, game week 1, game week 3, game week 4, at home to Fulham, Bolton and Villa.
Yeah.
The thing with Blackburn is their defenders, there's a lot of defenders out injured. So it kind of narrows the selection of who's got to start in defence for Blackburn.
Yeah.
And I think two options that maybe people are overlooking is 4.5 million players, John Curtis and Lucas Neal.
Yeah, nice.
Haven't seen those mentioned at all.
Yeah, nice. Good shouts, I think.
Villa's fixtures.
Just to say quickly, Lucas Neal, he plays defence and let's get him up while we're talking about him. Why not? We got the technology. He plays like defender slash attacking midfield, so he could be an out of position one as well. I mean, his stats aren't amazing, but yeah, he could be good. Keep going, mate.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I think he will probably start in defence. We don't know for sure.
Yeah,
but
I guess
he can move forward.
Might
I just think the Blackburn injuries in defence. I think there's like 4 or 5 defenders that are out for Blackburn.
Yeah.
So you kind of narrow it down. If you want someone that's going to start for Blackburn with the good home fixtures throughout the first 4, might be worth
a good gamble.
Yeah. Aston Villa.
Yeah.
It's been heavily mentioned they've got good fixtures.
Yeah.
You could go someone like Balaban up top, 7.5 million.
I think he's a good pick. Angel's out first game week as well.
Exactly right. So you'd hope Balaban, new signing, will probably start. I like Hendry.
Lee Hendry.
Lee Hendry. I don't think he's been mentioned too much.
Yeah.
But I think, again, like as someone who's going to be regular starting for Villa.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a good thing.
Yeah. I don't know whether he'll play, how much he'll play, to be honest, Lee Hendry, but he might. Ginler's injured.
And also the other guy who I think is probably the best pick, well, one of the best picks. I mean, a lot of people go for Melborg at the back.
Yeah.
Olaf Melborg.
Yeah.
But Alpai, I think, is just as good.
Yeah.
And he seems to, as a new signing as well, so in the games he's been bought in the summer.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty nailed on for centre back.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And again, 4.5 with good fixtures.
Yeah, could get a few goals as well.
Yeah. Have you got any more? Just before us talk about any more.
So I've got a goalie who I feel like I'm surprised people haven't talked about more, which is Dean Kiley of Charlton. He's nailed on to play. He's 4.5 million, and they got double game week and game week 4, so they missed game week 1 because 3 of their players got called up for international duty in Africa, which is amazing.
I've never seen that in game week 1 either.
Yeah, I know.
I can't remember.
It's amazing, but yeah. So I think it's Shitu, Fish, and Bartlett. So like real bit part players as well, but it's cancelled. So Kylie, I think, is a great shout. and I've not seen hardly anyone talking about it. I think he's about 5% ownership. And
Mhm.
the other two defenders that I was looking at, Ricardo Gardner, I've not seen people talking about very much. So we got ownership statistics for the first 100 people. So ownership statistics will be updated at deadline every week. So it's not a live statistic. It'll be updated at deadline every week because we need the game to be still basically for us to pull that data back. But Ricardo Gardner 3.7% ownership. Oleg Luzhny is another one who I think I've heard one person talk about him. If he starts, he could be great. 5 million, I think. So no one's talking about him. No one owns him. So
Yeah. And just with you mentioned Dean Kiley with the double.
yeah,
I still think I know people are thinking about the early wild card. Maybe game week 4 is a good chance to do the early wild card, and maybe bring in a Charlton or Bolton player then.
Yeah.
But if you're not wild carding, I think you've got to start with maybe one Charlton at least in your squad, even though they missed game week 1.
Yeah.
Kylie's a good shout. I mean, I like Richard Rufus as well.
Yeah, Richard Rufus now to play is their best defender, I think. But
Yeah.
I would, if it was me playing not a zombie team, I'd be tempted to go for it, and I would try and save your wild card as long as possible personally. But that is how I like to play FPL as well. So you know what's coming right now, so you may as well prep for it, in my opinion, and then wild card when something comes out of the blue because there's going to be curveballs. So I would suggest you hold your wild card and wait because those Liverpool double game weeks, I think 5 and 6, they're so unlikely to happen. If Liverpool come through the Champions League, which we'll know after game week 1 or after game week 2 rather, then those double game weeks are cancelled, and I wouldn't worry too much about that either.
Is the Liverpool game against the second leg against Lille?
Yeah.
It is on the same night as game week 2, isn't it?
Same night as game week 2, yeah.
Okay, so they won't know until game week 2 finishes.
So yeah, after game week 2, no, but they're 2-0 up from the first leg, which was in Lille. So
yeah, you'd expect it,
yeah.
Also, my kind of hot pick as well. Another good team of fixtures is West Ham.
Nice.
And I really like Di Canio. I think he's
proven goal scorer. He'll get goals definitely. Yeah. I haven't seen too many people mention him. I've seen a few people on Canute. I think that's like a decent shout as well. But yeah, Di Canio is not really very selected. Joe Cole is not hardly selected either, but he is quite expensive. But it's just I think like when we came on, we're thinking what names can we throw out there that people haven't picked much, and I think he could be not worth it, but he could really be worth it. So
yeah, I got a few comments. Chris Eaton saying Adi Akinbaye is a goal machine.
I think Akinbaye is a decent shout, yeah, but he's on international duty game week 1. So
do you think he's the best Leicester striker?
I don't know. I don't want to say too much, but I feel
no, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I feel like so. One of the names I've had actually down is Scowcroft at 8 million. He's not selected by anyone at the moment. He's an 8 million midfielder, which feels expensive, but he can play up front. Let's get him up. And I know it seems like a lot of money for a Leicester player, but he's quite good, and I think he'll play up front. And I think he'll play nearly every game. So who else have Leicester got up front? Let's have a look. Akinbaye, Trevor Benjamin. Just get Trevor Benjamin in and you'll be fine.
Set and forget 38 game weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Sturridge, people are talking about already. I'd only really consider Sturridge and Akinbaye out of that bunch.
Yeah. Guys, good pod as well. Wolf pod.
Yeah, definitely.
From the Wolf Pack. Some good stuff from FPL Lions and Teach Mode. I listened to that this morning. Very good stuff. There's some good tips on there, guys. So
I listened to that this morning as well. Very good. They were talking about Sturridge, so go and give that a listen, and they'll tell you about Sturridge.
Oi.
Also to shout out FPL, I think it's FPL Dougal or Dougal FPL, I can't remember which way around. He also did a really good little pod. I'd suggest you listen to that if you're looking for some more tips. And James at Planet FPL has been doing some videos as well. So there's definitely content out there with people giving their thoughts.
Yeah. Still a few people in the live chat saying about their sheets for people who've not signed up. Like Stephen Hamilton, are you still working on getting out the sheets to people who signed up on Saturday? Yes, we are.
Yes.
So hopefully by the end of tonight, if not tomorrow morning, then it should be all going out. So.
Yeah, basically, I think the plan is we'll try. If you let us know, like we say on that, go to our Twitter, follow one of the first tweets on there, put your name down, put your Twitter handle down. We'll get to it tonight if we can, and then tomorrow is about mopping up. So basically, tonight is we're trying to get as many out as possible. And just to say, the reason they've not gone out is because we've had to do some, or James has had to do some fairly complicated stuff. So it's worked for 75%. It's automated, sent them out, 75, 80% of them. But just Google can't handle it, basically. This program can't handle it. So we're having to manually do all these. So every person that's now not got their sheet, we have to manually go in, find it, send it to you. So that's why it's taking a bit of time to get these last ones sorted.
It is coming, guys. Be patient. It's fine, honestly. It's all good. Jose Vargas asking about Kinsella. What do you think of Kinsella?
Yeah,
I like him.
I like him. Good pick, I reckon. Yeah, again, he won't be popular because he's unfashionable, but he'll get goals, he'll play. I think he's a good shout for double game week.
I just really like the fact of getting at least one Charlton player in, just to put on the bench for game week 1.
Yeah, I mean Charlton are a bit rubbish, aren't they? But their double game week is great, so
yeah,
I think it's worth. That's what I was saying about Kylie, really, because you don't need to play him any other time. He can just be a backup, but he'll play and he'll be great for that double game week. So
yeah,
I've got a few other players to throw out there.
Okay, cool.
So Alan Johnston of he's not Sunderland, is he? He's Middlesbrough. Alan Johnston of Middlesbrough. He's 7.5. He has got under 5% ownership. I think he's can be really good. Basidas 9.5, very expensive. This might be me.
Crazy price.
I know this is probably me defending my pricing, but I've seen him have massive seasons. So he's one. I wouldn't say get him game week 1, but he's one to keep an eye on. Like no one has him. So think about that. And another player who at the moment, or when we took this data, no one had him, and he's hardly been mentioned, is Luis Boamorte, who again he's an out of position potential. So no one's really talking about him. I think Luis Boamorte is an interesting pick, and I like him a lot. So yeah, I would have a think about him if you haven't.
Yeah, got another question as well. Alex J saying, what will Leeds back 4 be with Radaby injured?
Let's have a little look. So Radaby's been out for all pre-season. You can see he's at 88%. So he's got 2 weeks left. But when they get to 90%, they can play. So I would be a little bit wary. So they've played in their last friendly. You can see they've played Woodgate, Ferdinand at centre back, and then Hart and Mills at full back. I would be a little bit wary of picking anyone that's not Ferdinand or Hart out of that defence. Maybe Kelly because he's cheap. I've got Kelly because I need budget defenders, but I guess Woodgate will play, to be honest, for the first game or two, but his place could come under threat.
Yeah. Cool. Any transfer news?
Not at the moment. Let me just throw out a couple of striker names quickly as well. Heskey, 2.8% ownership. Michael Owen's injured, 7 million, 7.5 million, something like that. I think Heskey's worth a go, although they've missed game week 2 and 3. But I think he's a good pick come game week 4. Pedersen of Bolton, 7.5 million, 0% ownership, and so double game week in 4 as well. Could be a nice little alternative option there. Maybe even a captain, because I think in game week 4 some of the big teams play each other as well. So you might want a bit of a differential captain in game week 4.
Yeah, for me, game week 4. I've said this a few times. Game week 4 is going to be the interesting one. You've got the double, so the people captain someone like Jason Newell or Mark Kinsella or something like that.
Yeah.
But then, because also you've got the big teams playing each other.
Yeah, sorry, I've got an easy chicken masala. This is my wife's laptop, and she has all these notifications turned on. It's like the IT crowd, like the only thing you can do is click it. Keep going, sorry.
That's right. So yeah, I mean, game week 4, I think that's the most interesting one because you've got the double coming up.
Yeah.
You've got the double in that game week, and then you've also got, I think it's Arsenal against Chelsea and maybe Leeds against United. I'm not too sure. I'll just get the fixtures up.
I can get it up on the screen, mate, for
Okay, yeah.
So that's game week 2, game week 3, game week 4 is this one, right? Is that the one?
Game week 4. Game week 4, yeah.
Is this the right week that I'm looking at? 5th of September, or is it that one? It must be this one because it's got the Charlton Bolton game in it. So, got Leeds, Man United. Liverpool got an easy game against Bolton. Sunderland Spurs will be an interesting one. Arsenal play Chelsea. And then, then you got the double game week. Maybe Ricardo Gardner, although, maybe not a Bolton player. But anyway, something for you guys to think about. The other players I was going to show are Southampton strikers, BT and Pahars, both potential really good shouts, I think. Both 7 million, both likely to play a lot, both can score a lot of goals. Might not, though, but at that price, I think Southampton are pretty rubbish, but they could be worth a go.
Yeah, okay. Andy Cairns asking, how do you see the transfers in the league being dealt with, announced, etc.? I can say that. I mean, we tweeted a few days ago about the hashtags going to be using every Monday and Friday. So you can follow like live injury updates, suspension updates, international duties and fixtures on different hashtags. So we'll be running every Monday and Friday. You can treat it like a press conference kind of day.
Yeah.
Those will be the days to look out for up-to-date injury and transfer news and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, like I think the spreadsheets have taken us longer than we anticipated, to say the least. So all of the information isn't necessarily as clearly available as it will be. But in the next sort of couple of weeks, we'll make sure we've got like a main pinned tweet that's got all of the stuff that you need to know, like the sort of hashtags. And I think, is it right, Andy, to say like we'll sort of drop in rumours and various bits and pieces through the week, but basically those hashtags will be for like confirmed transfer news, confirmed injury news.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. On the Twitter feed, if you use those hashtags, those are confirmed stuff rather than rumours from players that are wanted and stuff like that. So
yeah, cool. Nice, yeah, and also obviously on your spreadsheet, then it will all be automatically updated. So once we've tweeted out, basically it'll all drop into the spreadsheet automatically. So the injuries and the transfers will all also automatically come into your sheet. So you can also just find them that way. Just also say Kenzie is one of our testers and was very, very helpful. So shout out to him.
Another thing, Alex J saying, why is Danny Mills unhappy?
Why is Danny Mills unhappy? These are the sorts of questions I wanted to do a stream for. Danny Mills, he's trying to force his way into the first team. So that suggests to me he is an unlikely starter. If you want, like, maybe in a bit we could, like, 5 minutes or whatever, we could just go through the squads really quickly and just, if people got any questions or if anyone's unhappy or whatever, have a little look.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't. Yeah, I'd say do that and see if.
Cool. Yeah, Jason Wilcox is unhappy at Leeds as well. Could be a good sign for someone.
You would be behind Q.
Yeah, exactly. You don't pick him. Is there any other sort of just questions that people have that we can answer that we can be helpful for? I've got a few FAQs. There's an FAQ sheet that we'll link to, and it is available on our Twitter account, which is really helpful. So see if you can dig that out. But a few questions that came when I asked people for questions. One was about bonus points. So just really quickly to go over bonus points because there was a good example. So this game here between G Berligi and Blackburn, this pre-season friendly, someone said what bonus points would go out on this game. So basically, the way bonus points work is you get 3 points for the man of the match. Always gets 3 points, no matter what. That's it. The next highest scoring player or players get 2 points, but they have to score more than 8 points. So the man of the match gets 3 points no matter what, and then the next highest player gets 2, and the next highest player gets 1. So in this game, number 11, Gökhan Mustafa is man of the match, 3 points. Patrick Nice in goal, he scored 8, so he actually scored more than Mustafa, which is a little bug they've got in the game, but we're going to go with what the game says. So Mustafa gets 3 points. Nice is the only other player to score more than 7, so he would get 2 bonus points, and there would be no extra. That would be it for bonus points for that game. Make sense?
Great. Can you bring up another friendly as well? Maybe
Yeah,
from
sure.
Leeds or something.
Shall I go for this 4-4? That sounds exciting. Okay, so this is Wimbledon Blackburn. So Corrado Grabby man of the match. Automatically he gets his 3 bonus. And then you can see there's a ton of players who've got 8. So they would all score 2 points because they're all on the same number of points. They're the next highest scoring players. So they would all score 2 points. I'll do a couple more. Pick another one. Leeds. Let's pick this 1-0 defeat to Sandtruden. So 3 points for Nicky Hayen, man of the match, gets his points. 2 points for Hansen, got 8. Leleu got 8. This guy got 8. This guy got 8. Backer. So they would all score 2 points, and because there's enough players with bonus there, there's no one's going to get one.
Yeah, and it is quite rare for someone to pick up one bonus point, because you need a man of match to get 3.
Yeah.
And then for 2, someone else on a rating, and then only one person on that rating.
There will be quite a lot of bonus points. Let's go for a thrashing and see what happens there. So yeah, here you go. Man United. Luke Chadwick would get the 3 there. Sylvester and Van Nistelrooy would each score 2 again. So there's going to be a lot more bonus points in this version of the game.
Danny Sane as well asking the question, which is quite a good one, I think. If a player has a shot and keeper saves it, and another player scores the rebound, does the first player get the assist?
No.
Like in FPL?
No, they don't. So good question. The way we're awarding assists, so if I go to the Charity Shield, because you can actually see this. So the way we're awarding assists is every game played, we're going to go into this screen, the stats screen, and you can see that Fortune has got an assist, Veron has got an assist, so they get awarded the assists. Biscan, Honcho, and Littman all get assists. The only exception to that is if a player wins a penalty, we're going to give them an assist, which we can find out in the match report. So we'll look up who won the penalty and we'll give them an assist. I don't know why we decided to make an exception for that, but
I think it's a good exception.
Yeah, I think it's good. But yeah, in the game it doesn't award, like if a shot is spilled, it doesn't award an assist to the player.
Cool, that's fine. Great. Ryan McLeod is asking, Ryan McLeod 88, can you show the latest scores live, like Soccer Saturday? So, do you want to explain how we're doing each match day?
Yeah, sure. So I won't get up now because it'll take me too long. But basically, if you scroll back down on the Fantasy Champman Twitter page, you can see we did the Charity Shield last Monday, and that's how we can do it. So it's basically, if you imagine like the FPL website that says goal, assist, and then we'll be having those sort of goal alerts and a little description of the goals as they go in. So we'll have like a live match day experience, but it won't be streaming it. It will be all on Twitter. And on a weekday, I think we'll do all the kickoffs pretty much in one slot. Let me show you what we're going to do actually for game week 2. So game week 2, you can see that in the game, Everton play West Ham on Tuesday. The others play on Wednesday. So we're going to do the Tuesday game kicking off at 7:45, I think, and then the other games kick off at 8, just to give a little bit of the differentiation of time within the game. And on a Saturday, we'll have multiple kickoff times. Do you want to say a bit about that, Andy?
Yeah, so on a Saturday, we're thinking if there's 10 games, we're thinking 8 at 3 o'clock. Then we'll have one, like a lunchtime kickoff, that will be chosen by you guys on Twitter. So we'll do a poll, and there'll be the evening game will be a game that we've chosen at 5:30.
Yeah, and I think we're going to choose that before we know the results. So it's not an indication it's going to be a great goal-scoring game, but we're just going to pick the one we think is most interesting for ChampManFPL.
Yeah. How are we going to? I mean, the games for double game weeks.
Yeah.
Have we decided to do that a day later for the game week 4?
I think so. Yeah. Happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. That's what we're going to do. So yeah, it'll be a double game week will happen the day after. So Charlton Bolton, it will be either on a Sunday or a Thursday, I guess, depending.
Yeah, we'll sort that out. But double game week. So, and with a double game week, will it be closed, the transfer sheet?
Good question. I can't answer that, to be honest. I don't know. It will depend on the practicalities of how it works. I think if I had to guess, you'll be able to make transfers for the next game week during the double game week, because James can basically update the sheet so that it will drop in the Saturday points in one go, and then it'll do another update on Sunday and drop in more points, and you should still be able to look forward to it. Not 100% on that, but I think you will still be able to get in your sheet.
Cool. Do you want to go through squads? Or?
Yeah, I was just going to say, really quick questions. Someone asked about transfer windows. Basically, there's no transfer windows. There's a transfer deadline at the end of March. So players will move between clubs and come into the league up until the end of March. So be ready for that. And Andrew Dial, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, he said, what made us choose 0102? And basically, we just started the game. I just put out a tweet saying, does anyone fancy some Champman Fantasy as an idea? Because it's sort of a bit of a cult game, isn't it? A bit of nostalgia. I've played it all through my teenage years, and and since on and off, and Andy picked up on it. So it was just simply the fact of it's a fun game. It felt doable. There's no mysterious reason for.
Yeah, it's my favourite Championship Manager as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I still play it regularly,
yeah.
so
It's the best one, definitely.
it's the best one. Yeah. I just did another question, unless you got any more questions. So
I've got a couple more, but keep them coming, mate. Yeah, go for it.
yeah, so question from Darlan FN. Is there a game week every Wednesday and Saturday? I'm going to answer that. It should be every Wednesday and Saturday, but if for some reason we're busy on like a weekday, it could move to Tuesday or Thursday perhaps if
Yeah,
we're unavailable. So
yeah,
it'll
basically, yeah.
be 2 game weeks a week.
Yeah, exactly. I would say like the whole game is basically just keep bearing in mind we're doing it in our own times. We've got family, work, things to think about. So we'll do our best, and it should most likely be Wednesday and Saturday. But things might move from time to time. We'll just make sure that you're as well informed as you can be. Basically, actually, that's something I was going to mention quite late into the stream now to say it, but I don't know if people saw, but injury update. So we made our first mistake, which was when we moved the injury sheets across when we were making the sheets. 3 players got copied to the wrong return date. So Alan Shearer is not injured for 3 months. He is back in about a week. So Alan Shearer is back in about a week. Defoe is back in 10 days, and Boxic is back in 3 to 4 weeks. They had accidentally been lumped in with someone else, and then it was showing they were out for 3 months, but they're not. So that is an example of the sort of mistake that we will make from time to time. But just to let you know, Shearer is available in a week, which could be big. Couple more questions here I've got written down. Disable said, will we be quitting the saves when the games don't go our way and we don't get the points we want? Yes. No, we won't. Like I say, the reason that we picked 90 million zombie teams is because we didn't want there to be any doubt that we're impartial. So we won't be doing that. And a couple of people said they'd love to see the player stats, and someone screenshotted someone screenshotted this screen, which fills up with information. Basically, we're not going to be screenshotting that after every game week because it's too much time and work, to be honest. But in your spreadsheet, you will be able to see goals, assists, average rating, the key big ones will go into the spreadsheet, and you'll be able to see that. So don't worry, the data will be there.
And we also think with just posting too many screenshots of the game, it would just clog up the Twitter line a bit more than it should.
Yeah.
So
that sounds better than it's too much work, doesn't it?
Yeah. Someone else was asking, will there be an overall rank?
Yes, there will be.
Yeah.
So this again, that's only been tested with a handful of people, so we've got to see how it works in practice. Basically, one of the reasons the game got delayed a bit was because James, who has done a brilliant job again, he basically had to rebuild the sheet for about the third time because it was getting overwhelmed with numbers. So there will be an overall rank. It hasn't been tested, but I'm confident he can make it work. Someone said something the other day, basically, if my house burnt down, I'd be confident that James could rebuild it for me. So even if there's a little glitch to begin with, I'm totally confident that he will smash it. So yeah, there will be overall rank. Not sure about mini
Honestly,
leagues.
I'm in awe of that man.
What
James has built is incredible.
Yeah,
so.
he's a man of mystery. Yeah. He's amazing. Not sure about mini leagues. Someone asked about mini leagues as well. Don't think we'll be doing that. It makes it complicated with the sheet, so you just have to do it manually between your mates if you want to do that.
Yeah. Other questions on here. Robin Wells just saying, will the team sheets lock, just to clarify, when the transfer deadline hits before the next game week starts? So, yeah, the deadline is 6 o'clock tomorrow night for game week 1.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep informed of when the deadline will be.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, we haven't been able to get as much info out, but we'll try and get the deadline published as ASAP. And actually, if you go into your sheet, you can actually see on the fixture sheet, it does say, let me do it. If you go into the fixture sheet, where is it? I don't know if I think it's been updated. Oh, my fixture sheet's empty. Don't know why the fixture sheet's empty. But up here, it should say when the game week's happening and what date it is in the game, and also what date it is in real life and what time deadline is. So we'll try and keep that updated. Just here where it says game week deadline, that will also be reflected what the game week deadline is. I don't know if I'm connected to the internet. Can people still hear me? Am I connected to the internet? It looks like I'm not. My sheet is gone. Are we talking to no one right now? Maybe not. Let's see.
I can still hear you.
Good. But yeah, like I said, the info hasn't been as good as we would like this week, but we've just been so busy with sheets. But
James is just saying refresh. Try that. Maybe.
refresh. You know it's going to work. This guy, I mean, refresh. Who would have thought that? Let's see. My internet might be struggling a bit under the weight of the stream as well, potentially. Yeah, it looks like it's populated again now. So I'll go to that fixture sheet just so you can see it. It is struggling a little bit. So yeah, up here you can see in-game date for game week 1 is Saturday the 18th of August, 01. So it hasn't got the deadline there, but it does say 1st of April, which is when the real date's going to be, and it's also got the game week 1 deadline just there. You can see, so that'll be updated at the end. And I think to begin with, we're trying to keep the deadline a little bit further away from kickoff just to make it safe.
James is telling us it's the best content he's ever seen, a page refreshing.
Yeah, exactly. I love how we both sat there being like, let's see. This is new to me, so. Right, is there any more questions, or should we have a quick run through the squads? And if people got players they want to look at,
have a look through the squads and see.
If people have got players they want to see, then either here or elsewhere, then we can also do that. So if you've got any requested players, you're like, oh, is this player any good in this version? Then
yeah, guys, any players or teams you want to see, just put it on the chat and we'll have a look at it.
Let's get into the traditional view. So you see Richard Wright. Shall we take it in turns? I'll just run through it and you run through one. So Richard Wright's injured, as you can see. Parler is unhappy. I know why that is. It's because they sold Patrick Vieira. So he's unhappy, but it looks like he could get first team football. And it'll probably be between Parler and Inamoto for the central midfield squad instead of Vieira. Both could be good picks. Again, no one's talking about Inamoto, but I like Inamoto. Will Tort is unhappy. He wants first team football. Villa, do you want to cover that one, Andy? If I just roll through it, doesn't look like much there.
You can cover it.
Shall I go from
Neil Bax is saying Hadji of Villa.
Hadji of Villa. There you go. So in Intertoto Cup, he played 1 start and 3 sub appearances out of 4 games. So it doesn't look very nailed, but decent stats. Ginila's injured, 50-50 for the weekend. I think Merson is also, he's 50-50. Angel, international duty. Blackburn, I really like Alan Kelly, who's on loan for the next little bit of time. He's got good stats.
People are asking about Blackburn is like the second goalkeeper. I saw that earlier as a question.
Yeah.
So we've only got Brad Friedel.
Yeah, so John Phelan will be the second choice. Basically, we're going to add in if the sort of the database or whatever you call it, the player list that we have now is basically what we're going to run with. And then if a player starts a game, we'll add them in for the next game week. So Kelly is on the game, but he's got loaned out. So Phelan will be the second choice. But if he starts a game, we'll add him in. But I think Friedel's pretty nailed on.
Someone's also Dunn's.
David Dunn.
Dunn was playing pre-season, wasn't he, as well?
David Dunn, yeah, I think so. Let's have a look. David Dunn, yeah, 4 starts, 1 goal, 3 assists. Oh, that's another thing, actually. So I'm going to change to stat mode because it doesn't show you the stats in the game, but when you look at the stat mode for friendlies, it does show you. So that could be quite handy for people. I know people have been asking for it, and we never got round to it. It's not such a nice view, I'm afraid, but I'll tell you what, I'll run through it really quickly at the end because that's a horrible view to show you squads. Just what you were saying on Blackburn defenders as well. Oh man, what are you saying, Blackburn defenders?
Yeah, just the Blackburn defenders, the injuries of Blackburn defenders. I just think that John Curtis and Lucas Neal, I can't see anyone else nailed on for defence, really.
Yeah, I think that's probably true looking at that. McAteer, he wants to go. He's wanted by Brighton. I've added him to my shortlist because I want to see if big comes in. So, yeah, Lucas Neal. Maybe Craig Shaw. I think he's at 90%, 1 day to go. He could potentially come back in, but he's pretty rubbish.
Is Craig Shaw, is he 4 million?
4 million. So he could be a 4 million player. for a little bit. I think all the 4 million players are well at risk, but another player, Grabby is a good player, and he's had good pre-season, 3 goals in 3 games, but and an assist and a man of the match. But finding it hard to adjust to England, but you never know. Keep on moving, keep it going. Barnes is unhappy at Bolton. No one cares about Barnes. Holdsworth, no one cares about. Nothing interesting there. Charlton, Klaus Jensen, I've heard people talk about. He is injured for now. Fish, Shitu, international duty. Bartlett, international duty again. Nothing there. I'm just going to whiz through.
Is Jensen back for game week 4?
I don't know. So that'll be on the sheet. So I'm trying not to give too much injury info. 2 months he's out for. So no.
Oh, fine. Okay.
If it's injuries, I'll try not to say too much because you can get it on your sheet. But if people want to know, Baviera internationals, again, that's on the sheet. Nothing really to report there on Chelsea. Ed De Hoy is unhappy. Lasso is unhappy. That matters. I've heard people talk about Lasso. He's unhappy. So that suggests to me if he plays game week 1, he probably will get dropped for Baviera game week 2. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Derby. Carbonari's another one. He's injured at the moment. I think he's at 90%, but I think he's a good pick. Brian O'Neill.
I mean, just going back to Chelsea defence, there is. Yeah. I think there's a few places up for grabs in that defence.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who the back four would be.
Well, it looks like they've got 3 at the back. So again, if people want to see formations, we can do that. Like, this is what we're here for. So you've got 3 at the back, and that's what they've been playing. So you've got Gronkia and Stanic in the wing-back positions there. Dalabona in attacking midfield. No Hasselbank there. I would have said Desai and Gallas are safe. And then, who knows after that? Should we move on? Derby, no one really cares about, but they've got quite a few 4 million players. Brian O'Neill, Maweny, Bragstadt, Blatsis, all unhappy. Doesn't mean they won't play, obviously, but
someone saying Powell at Derby.
Powell, yeah, I can have a look at Powell. Daryl Powell. I'm just going to quickly do this. Tonton Zola Mukoko. Just
legend. Yeah.
Strength 1 needs to build himself up a bit. He'll get there.
I really hope he gets some game time, like towards the end of the season or something.
Yeah, usually he does get a few games in the season, so it could be a nice little free hit punt. Daryl Powell, there he is. He looks good actually. 4 games in pre-season, good average rating, no returns, but is he 5.5? Daryl Powell could be a good outside pick. I'll let you shout at me, Andy, if anyone wants to see anything. I think Paul Gerrard is pretty nailed on as Everton goalkeeper, which could be good. Unsworth playing defensive midfield there. Let's see what that formation is, because it looks a bit weird. Whoa! So they're playing some bizarre 3-4-3 with looks like Xavier and David Weir pulling out to the flanks as well. I mean,
love David Weir on that flank.
No, exactly. Yeah. That is a mess, isn't it? But yeah, Unsworth out of position there, so could be. These are for the last friendlies, by the way, just so people know. But yeah, I think Gerrard's pretty nailed on in goal. Can't promise you, but
I mean, Unsworth defensive mid's interesting one, because he is capable of a goal.
Yeah. Fulham, not much there going to interest, I don't think. Looks like they're playing.
Although we did have arguments, didn't we, about the Fulham strikers?
We did have arguments. I had Saha originally too cheap, so you talked me up on Saha. You want him to be higher, I want him to be lower, but
I still think he should be higher. Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, there's plenty of players. I look at the prices, I think, oh, like Ian Hart is so popular. Wish I'd made him a bit more expensive, but
what, 7 mil?
I think you talked me up even to that. I had the defenders a bit cheaper, but John Harley's a decent pick. No one's got him. I looked at that, 0% ownership. He can play attacking midfield. His stats aren't amazing, but he's good.
I think there is quite a few wing backs for a lot of teams, like Gardner, Harley, Arca.
Yeah.
All capable of some good returns. I
mean,
I've seen Michael Gray as well can sometimes switch of Arca.
I can't remember if Gray's listed. I think Gray might be listed as a midfielder. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I should have given you that as a defender, shouldn't I? But sorry. Lewis Beaumorte playing up front there, just as 8 out of position. So he's keeping Sahar out of the team at the moment, actually. See, Sahar's a sub. That's only a friendly, but pick. Ipswich, Sereni, the goalkeeper, is unhappy. He's a bit popular, so something to be aware of. They're playing in weird formation as well. Let's see what they're doing. Ipswich going into a friendly away at Rotherham, playing with 4-5-1 with 3 defensive midfielders. So maybe they'll be concentrating on defence.
I mean, George Burley, he is a defensive manager, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. 6 per hour. I think he's 4.5. If he plays, he could be worth a look. Leeds. So we've done Leeds already. Danny Mills unhappy. We've done them.
Someone's just asking for Ian Hart stats, if possible.
Yeah. Leeds, Ian Hart. There he is. Solid. Long shot 17, finishing 15. Looks good. He's going to be popular. I think he's going to be the most owned player, isn't
he? Yeah. There's still a few questions, like a few people commenting on Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I think we need to remember that Ranieri's in charge, the Tinkerman.
Yeah, he will change it up.
Rotation does happen a bit.
And also, if you look, just to go back to them, if you look at their squad here, this last friendly they got, Hasselbank's on the bench. He's not going to be on the bench most games. You wouldn't have thought anyway. Hasselbank will play most, I guess. Zenden can do really well. And the defenders, like you said, it's just a minefield. Quite often, Ferrer moves to other clubs. He could be a good pick at 4.5 if he does, but I wouldn't pick him to begin with. Yeah, I don't know. Like Chelsea, they're a tricky one, aren't they? They can do really well, so I would watch them closely. If you quite like Gallas as a pick, gets goals and that. Liverpool. Gary McAllister, he's requested a transfer. Won't be playing probably, that suggests.
The Owen injury was a killer, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's massive. Like I think Littmanen and Heskey become real options, and maybe Fowler's more appealing as well. He's pretty expensive, Fowler, but if he starts scoring, he could be worth a pick. Might be on penalties, or that's a bit unpredictable.
I mean, it could be a case where all three play, Fowler, Heskey and Littmanen. I mean, Littmanen can drop back.
Yeah.
If they decide to do that. So.
Yeah. Let's go Man United. Roy Keane, I think he's 90% fit, so he could play. This is the morning of the game week 1, but he could play game week 1, but it's 50-50, I would say. He could be a good pick. Again, no one's talking about him, but those DMs can rack up big points.
I don't think many people are talking about Scholes either. I know Beckham, Giggs, and Varane are very, very good in this game.
Yeah, got amazing attributes.
But Scholes at 8.5 million.
Yeah, I like Scholes. I think it's just how much he plays, isn't it? But if he plays, he's going to be good. I saw, was it you, Andy? Someone was suggesting going in for Man United, going with Van Nistelrooy, York, and Cole as your front three.
I did mention it. I think you can do it.
That would be an interesting move.
I think if you have those three up front all season, I think combined they'll get 50 goals.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you. I can't promise it, but I think, yeah.
I mean, it's meant to go three from Man United.
Yeah, it means you can't get any of their defenders. Their defenders are going to be good. Not much to report. Middlesbrough, wow, there's a lot going on there. I mean, is there anything that matters there, do you think? Can you see anything that significant?
Just the Boxic injury, isn't it?
Yeah, Boxic. So they've got Job, who started, but he's on international duty. So you would think it would be Nemeth and Rickard up front, I guess, to begin with. See what they're playing.
And the
Middlesbrough
strikers are normally quite good.
Look at that formation. Just point out Alan Johnston, who I mentioned earlier. They're playing attacking midfield, sort of running towards striker. They're covering this defensive midfield area by pulling in their right winger and their 2 central midfielders. Gordon, decent option.
Yeah, Rickard. I like Rickard.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a good early pick. Can always change him after a few weeks. I'll show you Norberto Solano. Lots of people keen on Solano. Pre-season, three appearances in Europe, 3 assists and a man of the match. Solid for 6 million. Probably slightly underpriced Solano, to be honest.
It's just, I think it'd be popular come game week 3 when he's back in. So
Yeah, I think he's a good option. Up front as well, Newcastle. See Shearer, after our error, Shearer, he's got a week to go. He's at 48% condition, so he won't be playing game week 1. Newcastle missed game week 2 to be aware of, but they're well short on strikers because it'll probably be one of Amiobi or Luar with Bellamy, I guess. If you wanted to go for a cheap punt.
Yeah, I think with the blanks in game week 2, I think that's why a lot of people are looking to wildcard. Perhaps game week 3, game week 4, getting all these players back in. So like Shearer, like Solano,
yeah,
Arsenal players,
Kieran Dyer
Liverpool players as well.
Kieran Dyer's a DM who can do pretty well. Southampton are pretty bad in general, but I think if you're looking at them, it's probably either like goalkeeper, maybe someone at Bridge, or the strikers. Maybe Svensson, people have talked about, but he's injured for 2 weeks. No one cares about Southampton really, so we'll move on. Sunderland, Thomas Sorensen, unhappy. He's homesick. But he can be very good. Bernd Haas has been playing pre-season. He's 4 million. Anything with Sunderland that we need to talk about particularly? Julio Arca's a decent pick. Playing out of position there.
I like Julio Arca.
Yep.
Wayne Bridge. People like Wayne Bridge, but I'm not sure I like their defence.
No, I agree with that. You're relying on attacking returns, basically. Spurs. So Spurs have had some interesting formations pre-season, I noticed. So
Larry NZ saying Bunjevic.
Yeah, here he is. I think he's in my draft at 4.5 million. I don't think Spurs have got a brilliant defence. They're going to be a very attacking team, I think, on this game. But I think that he will play most games, if I had to guess. I think he'll play most games. He's got 3 at the back, 3 centre-backs. So I think he'll play. Sheringham could be an interesting one if he can keep his place there. Poyet is another interesting one, maybe. Simon Davis, even. They've got a lot of pickable players, Spurs. But I think they miss game week 2 as well. So
yeah, they do, yeah.
Trouble caution. James, Planet FPL, was big up Casey Keller, who's played all the pre-season games, which is an interesting shout. He's a good cheap 4.5 million option if he's going to play. So anything else we need to look out there with Spurs? There's Ferdinand unhappy.
Some people are saying Darren Henderson can be good, but I don't trust that sick note.
Yeah, right wing back as well. Reverse out of position, but West Ham, last one. Laurent Courtois, I've seen him in a few teams. He's finding it hard to adjust to the English lifestyle also. So just something to be aware of, but doesn't mean he won't play. But yeah, that's a round of all the teams. If anyone's got any requests, can have a quick look. But I guess that's probably about it. We can maybe sort of sign off soon enough. But is there anything else that anyone wants to ask? I'll let you sweep up any questions.
Yeah, fine. Any other questions, guys, that we can answer, or any other players you want to have a look at?
And just
we can click on stats as well, can't we?
Shall I have a really quick run through the pre-season assists really fast? If you don't, if you want to go, probably most people already have. But if you want to go, just go. But if you're interested in assists pre-season, I'm just going to really quickly run through. So Arsenal, Ashley Cole, Parler, Pennant, and Rohan Ricketts with 1 assist each. Aston Villa didn't score any goals.
Into Toto, they had a few goals.
Europe, of course. Yeah, thank you, mate. So Angel and Melberg, that's it. Blackburn, back to non-competitive. Blackburn, David Dunn, 3 assists pre-season. 2 goals, 2 assists. Corrado Grabby and Matt Janssen, 1 assist apiece.
Can we just have a look at Bent stats as well?
Bent,
someone's asking about Bent.
There he is. Good pace, decent finishing, decent off the ball. Good all-round striker, Marcus Bent, I reckon. So there's Bent and his pre-season, no goals, no assists, but it's classic FPL, isn't it? So if you want him, you say, doesn't matter, it's just pre-season. And if you want him, you say, you pick the form player. But anyway. Bolton, Barnes and Franson with the assists. Don't think they'll be in many teams. Barnes maybe for 4 million. Charlton.
Rob Reed is asking about Craig Burley at Derby.
Okay, yeah, I'll click on him next. We're coming to Derby next. Thank you for that, Rob. So assists at Charlton, Johansson, Collis, Parker, Peacock, Pringle, Robinson. Robinson, there's no people I've seen people talking about as a cheap option. Chelsea assists, Babiaro 2, Melchiot 2. Then Good Johnson, Sam Parker, that's at another club, so ignore that. But Good Johnson, Stanic, and Zola all got assists. Good Johnson there, great stats pre-season. 3 appearances, 4 goals, 1 assist, 1 man of the match. Derby, so Craig Burley's pre-season stats are amazing.
He was incredible.
6 games, 5 goals, 2 assists, 2-man match. Can't argue with that. I'll have a little look at him for Rob. There he is. What do you think of Burley?
I like him.
Andy likes him. Sign him up. Or don't. We're not going to be giving tips, but we'll be in that way.
No tips.
Christie, 3 assists. Kinkladze, Murray, 1 assist.
I think you can go Derby, some attackers for like your 3rd choice or 5th choice.
Yeah.
Like 3rd choice forward or 5th choice midfielder.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. Everton, Naismith, Pembridge, Watson with the assists for them. They had a terrible pre-season. Fulham only played 1 game, did not score. Ipswich had a bad pre-season as well, I think. Assists for Armstrong, Gary Croft, Sixto Peralta, Jermaine Wright. They had a pretty dodgy run though. Leeds, assists for Robbie Keane and Harry Kewell. That is it. So they obviously didn't do too well either. Robbie Keane playing attacking midfield there, just to note. Playing a 4-4-2 with Robbie Keane attacking midfield. Leicester, terrible pre-season as well. Look at that. 5 games played, it looks like they only scored 1 goal. Dennis Wise got the assist. Liverpool, so they played friendlies and Europe. So Vignal, Sjoland, Redknapp, Babel. And in Europe, Robbie Fowler got the assist. I realise this is boring for some people, but lots of people have asked for this, so trying to whiz through it for you. Man United, Van Nistelrooy 3, Butt 2, Chadwick 2, Fortune 2. Be surprised if any of Butt, Chadwick, Fortune played, but you never know. Blanc, Giggs, Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, Sylvester, Solskjaer and York with further assists there. Van Nistelrooy, great pre-season, 6 and 6 plus 3 assists. Nice.
Yeah, he's on form already.
Yeah, dangerous. My man Alan Johnston with an assist for Middlesbrough. Fleming, Noel Whelan and Mark Wilson also with assists. Mark Wilson was at another club though. Newcastle played in Europe, so their assists are Solano with 3, Basadas proving his worth at 9.5 million with 2 assists, Robbie Elliott and Laurent Robert with 1 each. Southampton only played 1 friendly, but they scored 4. Beattie, Blydilis, Oakley and Svensson, the assisters. Svensson got 10 out of 10 before he got injured. Sunderland, Stefan Schwartz, he's cheap, 2 assists and a goal. Bellion, Michael Gray, playing in left back. Bernd Haas, Lilian Lasland and Kevin Phillips, 1 assist each. Spurs, Ziga 2, Bunjevic 1.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Goran, yeah.
Goran, the defender 1. Everson, Perry, Sheringham 1. And West Ham, Sinclair 2, Courtois 1, Di Canio 1, Hutchison 1. That's your lot. Right, that feels... This is, like you said, like cracking content, just reading lists of numbers from a 20-year-old computer game.
People love it. They would leave if they didn't. So
yeah.
It's all good.
Right, is there anything else before we go? Like, last chance for questions. Maybe before we do that, just to say, again, a massive shout out to everyone who's helped get the game going. Really appreciate it. It's been really fun to see it develop. And just glad to be able to offer something to people that hopefully we can all enjoy while FPL's off the table.
Exactly right, yeah. Guys, we're so excited to bring the game tomorrow. Just thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the lovely words and encouragement. We just can't wait to bring the game to you, and hopefully it helps you through this tough time. So that's what we're here for. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please keep the abuse down. And
yeah. Everyone's been amazing, apart from a couple of people being very persistent messengers. Basically, people are being very patient and very kind. So if you've messaged us, we're on it. If you haven't got your spreadsheet yet and you haven't replied to that tweet on our Twitter account, or if you see anyone being like, "Oh, I haven't got my sheet. What do I do?" Send them to that tweet on our Twitter account and get them to sign that form so that we can sort them out tonight. That's what I'm going to go and do now. So, yeah, we out with that.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, guys.
Nice. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
Cheers, man.
Bye. I'm going to sit on YouTube now, continuing to stream while I work out how to turn it off. Let's have a little look. Slick, smooth. Wow, there's still questions rolling in, aren't there? Flipping heck. That's a lot of questions. Blimey, is that just me catching up? I
Are we
know that
still
we're
live?
we are still live. Is this come back early? Like, I know we're still live and it's not slick, but just I'm presuming that my stream is just catching up. Like, yeah, it must be catching up. Right. With that slick finish, I'm going to say good night.
Night, mate. Night.